Hi folks, welcome to another tutorial from SQL Maestros. Recently, I have been working on a lot of performance issues related to a customer, something in SQL Server, and we have come across wait types related to Cxconsumer, exec sync, etc. And I have been posting a lot of content about that recently. If you roll back a few days ago, I posted videos about Cxconsumer wait type, eager index pool, then exec sync wait type, etc. It's all available in our playlists on YouTube. Now, Cxconsumer specifically, and I would recommend that you watch that full video. It's about 18 minutes. So strongly recommend that you watch that video and then maybe you can come to this one. In summary, the weights related to Cxconsumer can be ignored, but that is what I'm trying to explain in that video, that holds true in most cases. But sometimes you may want to keep an eye on the wait counts and wait time, and because there are always these edge cases where even weights related to Cxconsumer should not be ignored. Now, I don't want to repeat what I have taught in that video. So again, you should watch that video and come back here. But anyway, what I'm trying to show you in this one is Cxconsumer wait type does not show up in the query weights. When you're looking at the weights related to a query execution, something like what you see in properties window, Cxconsumer is totally absent there, which is not a good thing according to me, because at least you should be aware that, okay, I have this long running query and you want to find out all the weights related to that query. Whether SQL Server thinks it's important or not important is not the idea. The idea is you as a SQL Server professional should be aware of this. Okay, so see what we are trying to do here is, if you look at sysdmos wait stats and you filter on Cxconsumer, let's just go and execute this. Right now you will see waiting task count is all 0, wait time is all 0. So I have ran this before, wait stats clear. Let's just go and execute this. And now you will see that, okay, everything is reset to 0. Okay, all makes sense. Now I will just put sysdmos waiting task, and let's say where session ID is equal to 85. Okay, 85 session is this one where I'm going to run a stored procedure. Let's call it my business report, and let's turn on the actual execution plan. Let's go and execute this. Now, while this is running, this is going to be a long running query. It's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes approximately. If I jump over to the other window, our diagnostic query window here, if you look at the waiting tasks for session ID 85, and let's go and execute this, you will see that there are a lot of waits related to Cxconsumer here. Okay, let's refresh this once more. Let's go and execute this, and you're constantly seeing Cxconsumer waits here. If you look at the wait stats now, let's just go and execute this. You will see very minimal numbers, right? Waiting task count 9, wait time ms 13. Of course, which means that all these waits that you are seeing in this real-time DMV, they are not yet added up in that cumulative aggregated data here, because we have to wait for the query execution to complete. But one thing is clear, that these waits are happening, and a lot of them. What I would expect is, once this execution is complete and you are analyzing all the waits that this query encountered in its lifetime from start to finish, it should show up in the wait statistics of this query. Unfortunately, that does not happen, and this is where sometimes things may get may mislead you. So let's just wait. Okay, it's about 1.5 minutes. Okay, just to show this to you once more, I'm looking at the real-time DMV waiting tasks. I can see a lot of Cxconsumer going on here. Okay, and if you look at the wait stats, the numbers are going to be same, which is waiting task count 9 and wait time in milliseconds 13, because all the waits are not yet added up here. We have to wait for the query execution to complete. Either we cancel it or we wait for it to finish. Now, I know it's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes, so I am going to pause this video now, and I'm going to resume once this execution completes. Right now you can look at the status bar there. It's past 2 minutes and the execution is still going on. It might take 2 to 3 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever, but I want to save your time. So let's just go and pause, and I'm going to resume as soon as the execution completes. Okay, so I'm pausing now. Okay, I have resumed now. This execution is complete. First things first, it took about 4.5 minutes for this execution to complete. Let's jump over to the execution plan now. And this is what I explained in that video about Cxconsumer as to the reasons why you should not ignore Cxconsumer weights. And a lot of that has to do with this expensive eager index spool. Okay, so do watch that video. Anyway, what you want to do is now find out all the weights related to this specific execution. So let's go and select the select properties, right click, go to properties window, and you have the weight stats section there. In case you did not know, this is something that was added up, I think, in SQL Server 2014 or 16. And it's a good thing because you don't have to really set up extended events, weights, etc. to capture weights related to a specific query. Very helpful. So because all of this is now available in the execution plan. Now, if I expand all of these 5 weights that you see here, let's expand all of them. Okay, what's going on with that third one, fourth, and 5th? So what you are going to see here is that you have exec sync, you have SOS, you have whatnot, and all of this, but there is no Cxconsumer here. And this is what is interesting, that at least it should show up in the weights related. I mean, you as someone who is tuning queries should be aware of this. Now, if you jump back over to your diagnostic section here, and first things, if you look at 85, it's all gone because the session execution of the query is done. If you look at the weight stats now for Cxconsumer, the overall weight stats, you will see a high number out there, counts and wait time. So everything that was happening in the query now gets added up in this cumulative aggregated weight stats. But please be aware, the whole idea is be aware that it is not showing up in query weights when you're looking at a specific query. Okay, hopefully this was helpful and useful. If you're someone who's looking into weight stats every now and then for tuning queries, and you're coming across Cxconsumer, I mean, in fact, if you're looking into this and if you're doing something like this, we're troubleshooting query via these execution plans. And if you're looking at weight related statistics in the execution plan, be aware that Cxconsumer does not show up there. Happy SQL. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon so that you're notified on new videos. Most importantly, visit SQLmaestros.com. There's a lot of SQL learning resources out there: video courses, master classes, lab kits, ebooks, blogs, hands-on labs, and a lot more. Follow us on Twitter @SQLmaestros and myself _Bansal. Last but not the least, do subscribe to our newsletters. See you soon in another video. Goodbye.